Or just going to see like it. Okay.
I've never. This is like my first one.
How do I begin to describe Sam DeCoste? I mean, he's Sam DeCoste.
Sam DeCoste wears his headphones 24/7, so now I wear my headphones 24/7.
I heard his cataract sunglasses are actually Prada.
One time, Sam DeCoste stopped the green line with one hand and survived.
One time, Sam ran me over with his motorized scooter. It was awesome.
Now I heard that Michael Jordan owes Sam DeCoste money.
I once heard Sam DeCoste, he got ice cream with the President of the United States. Yeah, he's tight with Joe.
Sam DeCoste was the only 5-year-old to win an Emmy.
I heard Sam DeCoste has the best journalistic objectivity in the business. He's not a homer whatsoever. Sam is such a great dancer. I'm so jealous of him. I hear Sam got Mott's apple juice to sponsor the box score. Whoa. Hey.
I heard that Sam DeCoste is a Jets fan.
Hey, I heard that Sam got real professional athletes for his own show.
Really?
Yeah. Jack Hughes, Colin Sexton, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Peyton Manning, Dwayne "The Rocka" Johnson.
Sam told us to get nose piercings?
So we got nose piercings.
I hear that Sam DeCoste wears these giant headphones because he has super hearing. Now I wear giant headphones! I heard Sam DeCoste burnt his retinas saving children from a burning building, and that's why he wears these giant sunglasses.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Box Score. I'm your host for the last time, Sam DeCoste. Here to remind you that Alvaro Morata has as many goals in the World Cup as Kylian Mbappe, and we're thrilled to be here with you tonight live on YouTube for our season finale. We start tonight in Qatar, where the theatrical drama of the World Cup reached an all-time high today on the penultimate day of the group stage. And the dust has settled in Group E, which features two of the last three World Cup champions, Spain and Germany. But the group didn't turn out exactly how we thought it would. Germany, the 2014 winners, are going home. Spain, the 2010 winners, have to settle for second place. And Japan, perhaps the story of the World Cup so far, they are moving on as group winners after their win over Spain. They also defeated Germany in their opening day. Allow me to welcome in my crew of World Cup experts, Jeff Grundy, Danielle DuBois, and Matt Doherty. Now, Jeff, over to you first. It's tough to identify a starting point in all the drama we saw today, but Germany, they're out in the group stage of the World Cup for the second consecutive tournament.
Which is tough because Jamal Musiala was that guy. I mean, with Bayern, 14 games, 9 goals. He scored multiple times. I mean, I was so bummed out that they kind of let him down. No Royce, no Werner. I mean, there's no attacking presence for that German team.
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, look, Sam, there is no way around it. This is a historically embarrassing moment for this historically successful soccer culture in Germany. There's no other way around it. This was horrible for them.
They had no excuses. They had no excuses for this.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we've seen such a rich history from this team before, and then they come in, immediately lose to Japan, which is an awful way to start off their World Cup run, and then they drew to Spain, which is okay. You thought they can rebound a little bit. They won against Costa Rica, which is great, but it just was not enough for them to succeed this World Cup.
Now, in life, there's 3 guarantees: death, taxes, and a Germany semifinal in the World Cup. Before 2014, when they won the whole thing, they made 4 straight semifinal appearances, 8 consecutive trips to the quarterfinals, and now back-to-back exits in the group stage. What's happened to this Germany side? This is not the Germany we were used to, but maybe this is the Germany that is going to stick around.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a team that did not play Kai Havertz enough. And I mean, as I said before, no Royce, no Werner, no Hummels. I mean, these are players with championship pedigrees who are left off because Hansi Flick doesn't see it in them.
And that could be, oh, sorry, Matt, go ahead.
No, I totally agree. And in my opinion, it's arrogance from the German soccer side. I mean, they're so, like you said, historically dominant that they think they can win these games in ways where you just can't. Hansi Flick, why aren't you playing Kai Havertz more? He came on today and was the most electric and dangerous player on the field as soon as he stepped on. It's ridiculous to think that you can just play a certain way, and it's just not going to work against these teams that are good like Japan.
Now let's move on to Spain. They opened the tournament with a 7-0 win over Costa Rica. It looked like they were maybe the favorites to win the whole tournament. But then they drew with Germany, and then they lost to Japan after blowing a lead. Have we been duped? Is Spain an imposter in this World Cup?
I think at the end of the day, it comes to inexperience. I mean, we're talking about a team that has Gavi, 18, Pedri, 19. I mean, Gavi, 14 games with Barca right now. He has 0 goals. Now, granted, he did score a World Cup goal. That's really important. It's important to boost his confidence. But, I mean, this is a team that chose Ansu Fati and Nico Williams over Ramos, Piqué, and David Silva. I mean, you're just leaving legends out, and it's a bit of a bummer.
And this is a possession-based team. They love having the ball, they love passing the ball around, having 80% possession during the game. And they had the lead. And you think when Spain go up, they're going to hold on to the ball and the opponent will have nothing left. But this team was lousy in midfield. Pedri and Gavi gave it away lousily. And Japan, a young, hungry team, dominated the midfield and blew everything up.
Look, I'm a massive fan of Luis Enrique, but we need to pump the brakes on the Xavi and Iniesta comparisons when it comes to Pedri and Gavi. They just aren't there yet. They're 18 and 19 years old. We need to settle down. This team is good, but just like Jeff was saying, very inexperienced, so I worry.
Let's move on to Belgium, another team that is out in the group stage. Belgium were 3rd place in the World Cup just 4 years ago, but now they're going home after 3 games as well. Jeff, what happened to Belgium? This is the golden generation of Belgium. This is their only chance. There's the standings right there. They couldn't beat Croatia or Morocco, and they're going home.
Well, one thing I want to start with here is that we got to end all this hate coming at Romelu Lukaku. I mean, this is a man who was...
Did you watch what happened at the end of the game today in the second half?
I know. It's because he was injured. He had a thigh problem all year. He hasn't played a full 90 back at Inter. I mean, this is the king of Milan we're talking about. Back when he won the Serie A MVP, he's scoring 24 goals, 11 assists in 36 matches. He won them the Serie A title. He's a Serie A MVP. We need to start blaming these trash wingers. I'm looking at the Hazard brothers, a real hazard on the field. Eden hasn't scored since Madrid in 2020. He hasn't scored the ball. I mean, this is a guy who shouldn't be on the field, and he wasn't on the field. They put his younger brother on the field, who's even worse. Thurgood, trash. He scored last year. I mean, I have no idea why this Belgium side is turning into these two brothers.
I mean, look, Jeff, I am all for the Lukaku love. That's my guy, right? But at the end of the day, when we talk about this Belgium team and we talk about historically disappointing sports teams, this needs to be damn near the top of the list. I mean, they had a golden generation from 2014 to now, and the repeating disappointments on the grandest stage, like the World Cup and the Euros, they need to be held accountable. They are insanely disappointing.
And Roberto Martinez is out as manager. The clock has struck midnight on Belgium. This is the first time since 1998 they will not be playing in the knockout stages of the World Cup. And they only scored one goal in the entire group stage, and it was Michy Batshuayi, of all players, after being the highest scoring team in Russia 4 years ago.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm gonna keep throwing the blame. It's those trash wingers, and they have a defensive-focused midfield. Now, you heard me right. I just said a defensive-focused midfield with Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, come on.
All right, lastly, we have France, the defending champions. And so far in the World Cup, if any team looks like one of the favorites, it might be the team that won the World Cup 4 years ago. They're hoping to become only the third team ever to repeat as World Cup champions. They topped Group D. They beat Australia and Denmark. They lost to Tunisia after starting some players that are on their bench. But Matt, France look as strong and as scary as they've ever looked.
Look, you can try to nitpick things about France, but in my opinion, they have this sort of quality. It's like a puncher. They have a puncher's chance at any given moment to score a goal, and that's with number 10, Kylian Mbappe. He is so fast and so dynamic, especially when he gets that ball at his feet. He can score at any given moment, besides the fact that they're an incredibly well-rounded team. To have that on your team, I mean, there's not many teams I like more right now than France.
And Danielle, they're doing it without Pogba or Conte. The injury bug has been an issue.
It's absolutely insane because going into this, we all thought that France was going to be extremely really disappointing based off of their extreme experience that we've seen before and the injuries coming across them. But we still have Giroud, Mbappe, Mbele, Griezmann, still an incredible team that puts up many goals.
I mean, Kylian Mbappe will continue to surprise me. I mean, this man runs at 22.4 miles per hour. He's faster than a Volkswagen Passat out here on the field. He is running so fast, he's passing all these defenders. Yes, granted, France is missing Nkunku. He scored 12 in his last 15 games. Pogba's seeing ghosts and getting curses put on him by his own brother. I mean, come on. This team is going through a lot. But they're winning, and that's all that matters.
Now, this French team, 4 years ago, only scored 11 goals, 4 of which were penalties. But this year, listen, the French attack, they're like a Ferrari in LA traffic. 4 years ago, they were stuck in traffic, but this offense is meant to be flying high on the freeway, and that's what they're doing right now. They've scored a whole bunch of goals, and they have to be considered the favorites to win the tournament right now. But that was a good discussion about the World Cup. More on the World Cup later in the show. Now we're going to head to commercial, but when we come back, we move back to the States, to the NBA, and we'll give you our way too early MVP predictions. Who will it be? Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic? We'll dish it out after the break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Box Score Live.
When I arrive at my destination, I am gonna kill Bill.
Gaffer's tape.
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops, or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NBS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
Hi, I'm Mary Malloy, the host of Speechless, and you're watching the Emerson Channel.
Welcome back to the Box Score. I'm Sam DeCoste here with my crew, Jeff Grundy, Cam Manning, Matt Doherty, and Faith Pinnow. Happy December 1st, everybody. It's cold outside, so let's turn the heat up in here. A quarter of the NBA season is already in the books, meaning it only makes sense for us to decide here and now who will be the NBA MVP. As it stands, there are two clear frontrunners, Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic. Faith, you control the floor first. Who do you think is the MVP?
As I like it. I don't even think it's too early to say that my guy, the guy, is Jason Tatum. And that is solid. That is a box score guarantee, the very
Box
first
score
of the
guarantee?
episode. He is the first player in NBA history to score more than 45 points, have more than 10 rebounds, and have more than 10 rebounds and more than 8 threes in multiple games in the first 20 games of a season, ever. And if that doesn't speak for itself, I don't know what does.
Ever.
He is absolutely killing it. Matt will corroborate this in a moment, but I think that goes without explanation.
The stats are great. The stats are phenomenal.
We love stats on the box score.
I
hear too many stats.
I hear too many stats. But you know what I don't hear is that the Mavericks, who do they have beside Luka? No one.
Sorry, you have a
Tim
bad
Hardaway stinks. Jalen Brunson left in free agency. The Celtics have a great team in Jaylen Brown, Malcolm Brogdon. He has guys that score the ball. My main man Jeff here has some stats for you that will counteract that point. Jeff?
Yeah, current usage rate for Luka Doncic is at 38. That's a number that is only matched by 87 Jordan and 06 Kobe.
Pretty good.
I'm sorry, one of these guys is looking a lot more like those two than the other one, I can tell you that. I mean, not a single other player on the Mavs is within the top 10 of anything.
All right, well, okay, those are great numbers, Jeff. I wasn't really listening. So, so when we talk value, guys, all right, what does value mean within the context of sports and within the context of the NBA? It means winning. It means wins. Value means wins. Guess what? Jason Tatum's team, the Celtics, are 18-4 right now. Luka's 10-10. All right, and you mentioned his team's apparently horrible without him. Let's look at some players who have left Luka this year. Jalen Brunson averaging about 22 a game. Kristaps having a great season. Do we think that maybe Luka just is not conducive to winning? Have you watched Jason Tatum? Jason Tatum is the catalyst of the historically best offense in the history of the NBA.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes,
They're pumped.
please.
They're pumped. I'm at a stop.
You're stumped?
Stop.
You're stopped?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because Luka Doncic was a dynamite force in the semifinals last year in the Western Conference against the Phoenix Suns team that was ready to go to the NBA Finals, had the best record in the West.
Didn't know we were talking about the MVP of the last year's Western Conference Finals, but please keep going.
Luka Doncic has 4+ more assists than Jason Tatum on average. He's spreading the ball out more, and his teammates stink. So
51 triple-doubles. I'm sorry, 51 triple-doubles. Let's count how many Tatum has. One.
Oh, because that's a great stat.
That's so crazy.
Since when did MVP become only about the numbers? MVP does not historically go out to the player with the most triple doubles in the league. That's not what it's about.
If I could chime in for a second.
Oh, please do,
now,
Mr. Host.
We do love numbers. I have my calculator out to get all these numbers that we're calculating right now. Let me ask a question. If you're the Celtics, you are the #1 team in the NBA. You have the best record. And, of course, Jason Tatum is a huge part of that. But he has Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Marcus Smart, Al Horford. Now, the Dallas Mavericks are currently 8th in the Western Conference.
Ooh, that doesn't sound valuable.
But that being said, he has to play a role in making them competitive. So that it feels a little unfair that we're grading the record that the team has.
Sam. Without Luka, the Mavs 0-1.
They're a lottery team. They are a lottery team without Luka.
The Celtics,
lottery team.
The Celtics without Tatum 1-0 because you're doing a great job without your most valuable player.
Okay, 1-0. When Steph Curry won MVP in 2014, he had a great team. Should he not have won MVP? It doesn't matter. You have a great team. If you're a phenomenal player, if you're driving your team to winning, you are of value and you should be MVP. I rest my case.
The last MVP to be on the team that won the whole championship was Steph in 2015. Since we've done that, we've given it to Jokic, who can't win a single thing. We've given it to Giannis, who won once. That's great. Let's see him do it again. I mean, come on. This is not how we determine MVP.
How many fouls does Luka? We do have to move on. If there's one thing we can agree on, we can't agree on this debate. If Mariah Carey is on the radio, nothing matters. The season doesn't matter right now. We'll check back after Christmas. We're taking another break, but stay right where you are. We're moving to the gridiron. Who's going to the playoffs in the NFL? Who's winning the AFC East? We'll tell you and more after this. You're watching The Box Score Live.
All right, coming back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera one. Camera one, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As
Camera 2, close upon the person shooting.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson's hoping to pull away and score this big one.
Camera 1, gonna close the follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close upon number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson's hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
Welcome back to the Box Score. I'm Sam DeCoste, joined once again by Jeff Grundy, Cam Manning, and Danielle DuBois. We're in the final month of the NFL's regular season, and 'tis the season for NFL playoff predictions. All four of us, including myself, I got on the fun too, have put together our playoff predictions for the AFC and NFC standings. We're going to dissect each and every one of these predictions and see whose picture has the best chance of being right come playoff time. Danielle, we start with you and we start with your picks. Let's check out your playoff picture.
Yeah, so we start off here, some noticeable things. On the AFC side, we got the Jets coming in at 7th, and I know a lot of people necessarily don't have the Jets coming in, but I have them in their team. Coming in the playoffs, it is a shock. Mike White could be way better than Zach Wilson. You can move on to the NFC side. We got Vikings number 1, which is also a little bit controversial, but
that is a little.
I believe
that sticks out. I love to hear why the Vikings are going to outduel the best record in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, for the number 1 seed.
Personally, I think that Philadelphia will fall off a little bit. I just feel like they're going to go off the trails a little bit. It can't be all sunshine and flowers in Philadelphia. So we move on to the Vikings.
It's not always sunny, is it?
It isn't. It's not always sunny in Philadelphia. So they're at 2. The Vikings, however, have a great offense. They do have TJ Hawkinson on their team now, which is a pretty big deal. He's done really well so far. And so that is a huge thing that stands out with me. Adam Thielen hasn't had the best season, but they still have Justin Jefferson, one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in the league right now.
And I want to bring up something really quick about their defense. Their defense, 3 of their 8 victories have been game-sealing takeaways. That is a defense with Pat P on it that is just absolutely crunch-time killers. I'm so excited for them to go far.
You can't leave out Darius Smith in that
conversation.
conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
3rd in sacks, 9.5 sacks this
Absolutely.
year. Can't leave him out. Dangerous
They're
pass
4th in the NFL for tackles for loss. That's a good team right there.
And the Jets, that stands out as well. Interesting. The
Yeah.
Jets.
Jets.
Mike White.
Okay.
Mike White.
Okay, listen, I don't think he's going to be like the next Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes by any means. But to be fair, that spot is either going to be the Chargers or the Jets. And currently, I just think the Jets have that. They do have a lot more dynamic of an offense than they have in past years. They have.
Well, that's a low bar, Danielle. They don't have much offensive heartbeat in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
But in all fairness, if the competition is between them and the Chargers, I think the Chargers coaching will hold them back from that playoff spot. I think the Jets will sneak back in there.
I disagree, only because the Chargers are just so much more talented on paper.
Well, I'm glad you say that, Cam, because it's time to take a look at your playoff predictions.
You mean the right playoff predictions. You mean the most accurate playoff.
Let's see what Cam thinks. Let's see how Cam thinks it's going to shake out in the NFL playoff picture. No, we know it's always the same. We always have the same picks on the show, but let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look here. I obviously have some of my top ones are the Chiefs, obviously, and the Bills at number 2, Titans at 3, Ravens at 4.
Yes, sir.
I have the Dolphins at 5.
Wow.
I do have the Dolphins at 5. I think they're going to slowly decrease out. But the Chargers, man, they are going to go a long way in the playoffs, let me tell you, because Justin Herbert is going to have Mike Williams healthy, Keenan Allen healthy, and has Austin Eckler, one of the most dynamic running backs in the game, in the backfield. And you know what? Derwin James, Khalil Mack. You have all these big names on defense. You're Derwin James. You have all these studs on defense and offense. Why can't you go into the playoffs and make a deep run?
Bosa's injured, though. That's a huge part for their defense. And let's be real, their coaching is not ideal by any means.
And let me also point out to you on this graphic here, the Seahawks are making the playoffs. I know they got laughed at for that Russell Wilson trade, but it's Geno time in Seattle, baby. It is Geno time. Let's ride in Seattle. Geno time. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker III. All these rookies are studs for the Seahawks, Sam.
Let's talk about the Giants. You have them higher in your seedings than Danielle does. The Giants aren't exactly scintillating to watch on television,
Right.
but you think they're going to make the playoffs.
No, I think Brian Dable, coach of the year. I mean, nobody
Whoa,
expects
whoa.
the Giants to be this good and going toe-to-toe with the Cowboys for the second place in the division in
7-2 New York Giants.
The 7-2
It is
New York
2022. Daniel Dimes Jones is the quarterback, and the
Saquon
Giants
Barkley's
are
back.
in contention right now.
Saquon Barkley's back. and
Saquon
they-
is the heart and soul of that team. There is no way that team is where it is
But he's
without
cooled
Saquon.
off significantly, and the Giants have lost 2 straight. Can they bounce back? If they split their last 6 games, they could probably squeak in, but even that's going to be difficult.
I think a lot of rookies and young players have really made a difference for Brian Dable's defense, especially Thibodeau. They drafted in the first round, and Neal out of Utah, that offensive tackle, have really made dividends for this team, and they have really shown up in big ways to help this Giants team propel into a playoff scenario.
Now they have to win the division games. They have plenty of them to end the season, including 2 meetings with the Eagles and the Washington Football Corporation. They're going to have to get some wins against those teams. They're going to make their way up the standings. Interesting picture. Now, Jeff, you're up next. I love to see how you painted this picture.
I'd love to just give a little intro.
I know you always
At
love
the
to
end
bring
of the day, I'm just here to bring some new energy, some new spice.
Jeff.
I picked these rankings purely off of vibes. Because you know what? Vibes is what rules our sport.
The Miami Dolphins.
Yes, sir.
Number 1 seed in the
Yup.
NFC.
And you want to know why? It's a question about firepower.
What?
Hill is producing amazingly already. He's got 1,233 yards, 4 TDs. And you know why he's doing so great? It's because he's taking pressure away from Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, 963 yards, 6 TDs. But this all boils down to Tua. Now, I don't have to make a 700 clip video to show Tua that he's doing great. I just need to bring up one number, and that's Tua's passer rating. His passer rating's at 115.7. That's literally only behind Patrick Mahomes. If that's the decider, I'll take the team that has Tyreek Hill on it, huh? How about a little bit of that?
Now, Jeff, I'm taking this extremely personally, like in The Last Dance. So the Dolphins, their last 5 wins are against the Texans, Browns, Bears, Lions, and Steelers. They beat the Ravens. That was a great victory, but the Ravens can't hold on to a lead. And they beat the Bills in sweltering September heat at home. This Dolphins team has to go to Buffalo in the cold. I'd love to see Tua be able to march into Buffalo, a place that the Dolphins haven't won since 2016, and come out with a victory and win the AFC East title right there.
Well, that's why, Sam, if you'll check right down there at number 5, you'll see your beloved Bills, because they're not going anywhere. Titans at 3, Ravens at 4. These are teams that, yes, might be on a downward slope.
No.
They're coming up.
Josh Allen's playing with half an arm and still putting up MVP numbers. He's playing with half an arm, basically. He's got no UCL on his arm.
At the end of the day, I know talent, and I know the Miami Dolphins.
I mean, they do have one of the best 1-2 punches at receiver, but that's
a
okay.
little
Well, I'll get to that because I'm next. I end this segment with my own playoff standings. I can't wait to share them with you. And I'll start at the top of the AFC because that's the only place we could start. Buffalo Bills, number 1 seed. They have the head-to-head over the Kansas City Chiefs. All they need is to run the table or lose 1 or 2 games down the season and have the Chiefs slip up at some point. The Chiefs have had a very easy schedule. They just beat the Rams without Matt Stafford or Cooper Kupp. And the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, will have number 1 seed.
How about the Cowboys?
Where's Stephen A. Smith? Someone call Stephen A. Smith.
Circle your calendars for December 24th. It is Christmas Eve, and it is also when the Cowboys and Eagles have their rematch. Now, the last time they met in Week 6, Cooper Rush was the quarterback, and the Eagles won only by about 9 points. And so with Dak Prescott there, with this team humming, the Cowboys are coming for the Eagles. The Eagles are going to jump all the way down to the 5 seed. You have to play on the road in the playoffs. Well, that's how the division standings work. You have to go on the road if you're second place in the division. But the Cowboys, this is one of the most talented teams in the NFL. And head-to-head against the Eagles, they were very competitive. Tony Pollard. Ezekiel Elliott, the best.
It is a great team.
The talent on this team.
About that defense.
Like, the game that stands out to me is the 40-3 win they have over the Minnesota Vikings. That is one of two of the best teams in the NFL. And the Cowboys went into Minneapolis, into an opponent's building, and schooled them completely. And that's why they'd have the head-to-head in the 1-2 standings in the NFC. But I think the Dallas Cowboys are primed for maybe their first NFC Championship appearance.
Oh,
I don't know about
that's
that.
a hot take.
I
I want
don't
that
know about
recorded.
You want that?
It's
well,
live.
we're live on
It's
YouTube.
live. It's
Dallas
live.
Cowboys,
It's here.
America's team. I'm a fan of what they're doing. And the Bills, obviously. The Bengals winning the AFC North. It's also significant. I'm the only one that has that.
They're sneaking in there.
Listen,
I see that.
Listen, Brandon Staley. Do you trust Brandon Staley to get the Chargers in the playoffs?
That's
I
what
don't.
I'm saying.
Bill
That's what I'm
Belichick-
saying.
more than
I
Bill.
trust Bill
That's what I'm
Belichick
saying.
with my taxes. It's time for our final commercial break. But when we come back, we're ending the season and celebrating the only way we can with the return of the Mystery Draft NFL Edition. You won't want to miss this. This is the Box Score Live.
I'm gonna kill Bill.
Welcome back to the Box Score. I'm Sam DeCoste, joined by Jeff Grundy, Cam Manning, Faith Pinnow, and Danielle DuBois. Let's have some fun to end the season tonight. We're bringing back a fan favorite game here on the Box Score, Mystery Draft. Now, for those of you who don't know how the game works, it's all about the stats. Here at the Box Score, we love stats. So we created a game entirely built on stats in a game I like to call Mystery Draft. We're mixing things up, though, this time. Instead of going solo, golf style, our correspondents will be working in pairs. It's all about the holiday spirit. Jeff and Cam versus Danielle and Faith. We've made a series of graphics with two sets of NFL player statistics who each play the same position. We have sets for quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. The catch? Our correspondents have no clue who the players are, and neither do you. But I do. Each team will have to pick who they would rather have without knowing the player's name. After that, we'll reveal who the players are on the screen, and the answers may surprise you. It's part of the mystery. Let's get started. Let's look at the quarterbacks on the screen and have your pick at your quarterbacks. The suspense is very intense.
I know.
Killing me.
Killing me. I hope I picked the right guy.
There are no wrong
Probably
answers.
won't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Is there a winner in this? Is there a clear winner?
No.
here we
well,
go.
here they are.
Here we go.
So there's two quarterbacks on the board. You have passing yards, touchdown to interception ratio, completion percentage, and passer rating. A lot to look for in a quarterback.
Say that.
Sorry.
So who is it going to be?
Oh,
Clock is ticking, you two. You better make a choice.
Me and Jeff clock in.
Okay, who is it
Yeah,
going
we
to be?
clock in.
We are picking QB1.
QB1.
Oh, that's perfect. We chose QB2.
Okay, that's good. We
I
love
love
that kind of
it.
mystery
Yes, I
draft.
love it.
Let's see who you chose. Reveal the players on the screen. Joe Burrow and Geno Smith.
Look at him.
Is that so? Please elaborate.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Burrow over Geno Smith? Yeah, sign me up. 7 days a week, 24 hours in a day. Sign me the trip up for Joe Burrow, man.
He's been to the Super Bowl before. Granted, he lost.
That's great.
We're not
That's
going to
great.
talk
Okay.
about that. We're not
Cool.
going to talk about that. We're going to talk about somebody who picked up Russell Wilson's bones. I mean, come on.
Okay. And it worked.
Joe
And it
Burrow.
worked.
Look at that TD to interception ratio. I mean, that was beautiful. I mean, like, this is a kid who has so much upside. He's throwing to Jamar Chase,
And
the
T. Higgins.
best wide receiver.
I'm not gonna argue. We're not arguing that Joe
great.
Burrow isn't good, but we're rolling with Geno. Make that trend on Twitter.
The comeback player of the year, Geno
rolling
Smith.
with
He has
Geno,
been great.
comeback player of the year. Y'all have said it on the show, so don't act like you haven't. All right, he's gonna rock our team. It's gonna be exactly what we need. Hashtag rolling with Geno.
One note, Geno Smith leads the NFL in completion percentage.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy.
He's great.
I love Geno
He's
Smith
great.
as much as the next guy. Let's look at championship experience. This is an AFC. Wait, no. Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, he won the AFC championship.
That's great. That's great. Is
That's
that this
pedigree
season?
that
Is
Geno
that this
Smith
season?
couldn't even
I just
get
want to
close
point something out. I wanna butt up against the fact that you said our guy's picking up Russell Wilson's bones. In fact, he's not. In fact, he's turned around the
Broncos games
Seahawks.
this year,
Yeah, have you watched any Broncos games? Like the Seahawks are like, whew, thank God we got rid of him.
Exactly. They won that trade easily. Easily.
Box score country, let's ride.
Let's
go
ride.
to the running backs. Let's see the running backs that you have to choose from.
We're ready.
Love me some good running backs. Right?
Well,
We're ready.
A quarterback's,
Henry.
that's
Give
a
me
quarterback's
Derrick
best friend.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you got.
It's like me and Danielle.
Here they are. You have
Oh,
carries.
wow,
you have
wow.
rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and yards per carry. Let's go a little faster this time.
No, I
All
mean,
right, we're
done,
clocked in, we're
clocked,
clocked in.
done.
Okay, who's
That's
gonna
us.
be?
We're RB2.
RB2.
I love those
Who do you-
rushing yards.
RB1.
I love the
Okay.
yards per carry. That's a better running back.
Who have you chosen? Let's see. You got Jonathan Taylor and Travis Etienne.
Okay.
That's great. Is Jonathan Taylor
great.
good again?
Yeah,
He
I'm
was
good
good
with that.
last year, right? Wasn't he good last year when
Jonathan
Matt Ryan
Taylor?
wasn't
Yeah.
handing him off the ball and fumbling it every 15
He's
seconds?
been getting it back.
Travis
He's been,
Etienne, man.
first half of the season, he was not good. I will admit that. But this past few games, he has been getting it back. Matt Ryan seems to know his talent. He goes, hey, if I cannot throw the ball, I'm going to give it to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
he can
it's
do
that a
everything
fumble.
with it.
Ground and pound, baby. Let's
Exactly.
go. He's running that ball.
But where is he gone? Last year, Jonathan Taylor had 1,800 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns. He has 4 touchdowns this year. Not to mention he was the renowned #1 overall fantasy pick in most drafts. And Jacksonville's #1.
All right,
Although torn
and that's-
ACL
I'm
is
gonna
having a great
say-
season after they traded James Robinson.
Yeah, no
say
more
second
Urban
half, he's
Meyer.
gonna go
I'm
nuts.
so excited.
Exactly.
Second
Travis
half is going to
Etienne.
go dumb.
Also, you
Let's
can't have
go.
incredible seasons every single season. That's just not realistic at all.
Oh, his name is Derrick
Exactly.
Henry. His name is Derrick Henry, and he's doing great. We can look in the AFC South at someone who's consistently great and has a
He did
run-built
not start off
offense.
good. He did not start
All I'm
off good
saying
at
is
all.
that I'd rather have Joe Burrow and Travis Etienne than Geno Smith and Jonathan Taylor.
That's true.
That's what
That's
I'm
not
saying.
your team.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
We're
We're building the dream team
We're
over
building
here.
a great team.
We're building the dream team.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
You say it's impossible to be great every week. I disagree. All 4 of you are great every week.
Sam, you didn't have to.
Stop it.
Silly Sam.
I want to get my wide receiver.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
miss you
get
guys.
this
Don't
wide
say that. Okay, let's see the wide receivers now on the screen.
We're eager.
It's the focal point of an offense. It's the divas, you could say. Here we have receptions, yards, touchdowns, and yards per catch. A lot to look for in a wide receiver. Who's it gonna be? Buzzy.
Fucking boom. That's wide receiver 2.
Wide receiver
Yeah,
2.
we're all good.
Oh, so you're both thinking the same play.
Yeah.
It's not as
Look at those
entertaining,
TDs.
but
That's all right.
well,
with wide receiver too.
let's see who you chose, shall we? Wide receiver 2 is Amari Cooper. You chose him over
okay.
Amon Ross St. Brown.
I have so
right.
much love for Amon-Ra St. Brown. At the end of the day, when you're in that Detroit Lions offense, I mean, you got Jared Goff throwing you the ball.
That's so true.
I'm so excited.
That's true.
I mean, like, good for you, Jared. Sell your house, get out of LA. Like, go find a place in Detroit that'll love you.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Amon
more
Ross
property.
St. Brown has to be considered in the next few years. He has the potential to become the best receiver in the NFL. He's an outstanding route runner. He makes the Lions competitive. That is difficult historically.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was either a 4th or 6th round pick. He was a deep pick. He wasn't a first or second rounder. He was a deep, late draft round pick. He was a diamond.
He
in the rough.
knows it. He knows it.
Honestly, he would be a great addition to our team. He would make us more competitive.
No.
That's exactly what we want.
Amari Cooper, he was traded last year from the Dallas Cowboys on his 3rd team already in his career. He was traded only for a couple of draft picks, 2 5th-round picks, and a 6th-round swap. Pretty much for a Wendy's 4-for-4 and a pack of Bic pens, but look at him. He's making the Browns competitive, too. He's one of the most unguardable receivers one-on-one in the league.
Absolutely.
He's definitely dynamite.
I want to strip him from that team. Give me him.
Exactly.
We'll dump the rest of the Browns. I don't really want to talk about them.
Yeah,
I want to
exactly,
talk about how Amari Cooper has that pedigree. I mean, this
He's
is
got
a
the dog
kid
in him.
coming out of Alabama. He was so nice. I mean, he was the reason why I watched the Cowboys for a bit.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, that was the reason why we cared about Dak for a bit. I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean,
But
very
yeah,
true. Very
Amari
true.
Cooper, I'm happy we have him.
Jeff, I love our team.
Can
I say that right now?
We
I
get a
love
champion.
Wonderful.
We're getting rings, Cam.
Wonderful general managing here. If it's one thing I could say about all 6 players, they all have that dog in them. They have that woof woof. But amazing job, everybody. If there's one thing we learned from this exercise, it's that stats tell the story, but not the whole story. That's mystery draft. Moving back to the World Cup, the U.S. men's national team faced a must-win game against Iran on the final day of the group stage in order to advance to the next round. How did they fare? Jackson Tolliver has the answers.
This is heading to the last 16 of the World Cup. The men in Stars and Stripes defeated Iran 1-0 in a must-win game to advance out of Group B. The U.S. came into the game with 2 points after back-to-back draws with Wales and England, and having only scored 1 goal. Their opponent Iran shocked the world by beating Wales late in stoppage time in their last group game, meaning a draw against the U.S. would see Iran to the next round. But when his nation needed him the most, Christian Pulisic delivered. The Chelsea man made a late run into the box, blistering past the Iranian back line, and tapped in a cross from Serginho Dest to score the game's only goal.
We show what we can do determination-wise. The guys grinded, they gave every single ounce of energy, and we're undefeated going into the next round.
But the goal came at a price. Pulisic laid his body on the line for the score, his forward momentum causing him to slam into Iranian goalkeeper Alireza Berivan, keeping him on the ground while Americans rejoiced. Pulisic had to be subbed off before being diagnosed with a pelvic contusion. He was taken to a hospital to be treated, but was discharged in time to celebrate the victory with his teammates.
It's a wonderful thing when one of your best players is also one of the hardest working, and he's certainly that. I can't say enough positive things about Christian.
Pulisic insists that he will be healthy enough to play in the U.S.'s round of 16 matchup against the Netherlands. The Dutch also finished group play unbeaten, winning Group A. The Netherlands are considered a dark horse favorite to win the World Cup. 23-year-old Cody Gakpo has scored in all 3 games for the Dutch in the World Cup. He and a fearsome Dutch backline will look to lead the way against the Americans in the round of 16. The U.S. is hoping to make their first World Cup quarterfinal since 2002. From here on out, it's win or go home. I'm Jackson Tolliver reporting for the Box Score.
Thanks, Jackson. Best of luck to the boys as they face the Netherlands in the round of 16. In other news, the Women's College Basketball Hall of Fame has announced its 2023 finalists, including University of Minnesota icon Lindsay Whalen. Faith Pinnow has more.
That's right, Sam. Thank you very much. Lindsay Whalen is Hall of Fame bound. The Minnesota legend is one of 5 women who will be inducted next year into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Whalen played 15 years in the WNBA, and she is one of the most decorated female basketball players of all time. In the pros, Whalen helped deliver 4 league championships in 9 years with the Minnesota Lynx, and she was a troop of point guards who redefined what the position could do in the WNBA. In the college ranks, Whalen led the Gophers to the Final Four during her senior year in 2004. Long before she started garnering national attention in college, though, the way that Whalen worked the floor was always unique. She was more than a solid ball handler and a great distributor. Whalen could score at a high level, and she could do it under pressure, a skill which she developed more and more throughout her time in the league. But her physicality is what really set her apart. She used her size and her speed to finish at the basket in a way that few others could. And now Whalen is back in Minnesota, coaching at her alma mater. Her 5th season as coach of the Gophers is fully underway, and she's hoping to bring even more championships back to her home state.
Well, Faith, it sounds like Lindsay Whalen is a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame as a player and a coach in college and the pros. Is there anything that Lindsay Whalen can't do?
No, and actually, I didn't even say everything that she's done. She's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and she's a 5-time All-Star player in the WNBA. And to top it off, she started coaching at University of Minnesota while she was still playing with the Lynx.
Incredible. Wow, thank you so much for that. Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight. And if you don't know already, this is my final episode on the Box Score hosting, and it's a very bittersweet night for me, and so forgive me if I'm a little emotional as I close off the show for one last time. But there are a few people that I'd like to thank for making the show possible, starting with our wonderful, talented 38-person cast and crew. Our talent, not to mention our incredible director, control room, stage managers, production assistants, associate producers, our camera operators, our marketing team, our audio and lighting team. We have the best team in the business, and I'm incredibly fortunate and honored to have worked with every single person on this crew. And there are a few people I want to name specifically that were so instrumental with the show and with my growth as a broadcaster and as a producer, naming Owen Conti, Michaela Pinto, Brendan Walker, and Joe Cho. You all joined the show with me, in part because you believed in me, you trusted me, and you thought that we could make something magical together. And I'm grateful that all of you saw that in me, you trusted me, and that we made a really great show together. And I'm incredibly grateful for all our working relationships, and you're also some of my best friends I've ever made at this school. So thank you so much. I want to thank Hannah Brewitt, the last host of the Box Score, for believing in me and hiring me to take on this show and the challenges of it and make it my own. She saw something in me 3 years ago as a correspondent that I'm not sure I saw in myself 3 years ago. And I'm honored that I got to be a part of this show and make the show my own. And it's humbling that I get to pass the torch now to our very own Faith Pinnow. If you watch the Box Score, you know she is an outstanding personality, a natural broadcaster, and my time on the show might be over, but I'm going to become the Box Score's biggest fan for the rest of my life. And I can't wait to see what you do, along with your EP team, Mill and Jane, Gabby Hughes, and Layla Simmons. You're all going to do a wonderful job with the show. I can't wait to be cheering you on from the sidelines. And I want to thank all of you, everyone at home, our friends and family, for supporting us on the show and everything that we do on the show. I want to thank my family. Specifically, I want to thank my mom for always being my biggest fan and for always supporting me and believing in me. So, and I know you're watching, so I love you. Thank you so much for believing in me. I'm going to miss the show so bad. I'm going to miss all of you. But I know the show will live on, and it'll be great, and you know I'll be watching. But that's all I have. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EIV Box Score. You can also follow me at the Sam DeCoste. And keep your eyes peeled for our next episode for some more red-hot analysis like this. Morocco are making a World Cup semifinal. For Jeff Grundy, Matt Doherty, Danielle DuBois, Faith Pinnow, Cam Manning, and Jackson Tolliver, I'm Sam DeCoste, and this has been the Box Score. I'm out.